Yo, check out this video. Look at my African brothers walking towards these lions. Skinny as hell, no guns, no grenades, no rocket launchers, no flamethrowers, nothing. And yet the lions run away. You and I both know that any one of those lions would tear their ass up, would rip them a new asshole if they chose to. But they don't. Why is that? It's because the lions have more fear than these hunters. And it's like a metaphor for the rest of life. Whoever has the most fear will always be submissive to the person with the least fear and most confidence. But we're going to do something about that. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to overcome this primal emotion of fear so that you no longer stay a sheep and start moving and getting things done in this world before our society collapses. And to do that, we need to look at the Spartans. Believe it or not, there once was a time when watching a grown man fighting in their underwear was cool. And no, I'm not talking about WWE. I'm talking about the movie 300 with the Spartans fighting. You know the movie where the little golem-like creature messes up the whole plans? That movie. After watching that movie, I was very stoked, and I decided to go back and look at the pages of history and to learn what the real Spartans were like. And what I found was very interesting. The Spartans were a nation of people who understood fear at all levels. They actually raised their young from the age of 7 to be warriors, to confront their fears, to fight, and really have that self-mastery. Even the girls fought too. They believed it helped them with childbirth. I don't know about that, but that's what they believed. What many people don't know about the Spartans is that they had a shit ton of slaves. They had lots of slaves. A lot of historians believe that for every one Spartan citizen, there were 7 slaves. So if there were 1,000 Spartans, there were 7,000 slaves within their city walls. Pretty crazy. And something interesting happened in 491 BC. The Spartans asked their slaves to gather the smartest amongst them, the brightest. You know, if this was today, it would be the likes of Jordan Peterson, Nassim Taleb, Nobel Prize winning physicists, etc. They got the best of the best to gather around. You know, they dressed them up and said, yo, you guys, we're gonna free you. We're gonna give you your freedom. You can do whatever you want. Let's go. So 2,000 of the elites of the slaves went with the Spartans outside the city walls. They kept going, kept walking. And then the Spartans massacred them. They brutally they butchered them, every single last one of them. Now you might be wondering why the Spartans did this. It's because of the emotion fear. The Spartans did this because they knew that if they destroyed the best of the best, the remaining slaves would be so scared that they would never revolt. When you strike fear into the heart of a man, you control him. He becomes a sheep. He becomes submissive to him. They knew this, just like the hunters that walked toward the lions, right? Any moment those lions could tear their ass up. Any moment the slaves could tear the Spartans' ass up, but they didn't because of fear. They became practically zombies. Fast forward to today, and the same story is happening. Most men today are run by fear, and it's causing the collapse of society. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to give you 3 examples, and you're going to find 3 very interesting patterns in these examples. Number 1, something recently happened. Some transgender, formerly a man, now a woman, is competing at the Olympics, and he's destroying the women in his field, and he's going to go to the Olympics, and he's probably going to win gold over there. Some people have been talking about it, but most people have been staying quiet. The reality is, if you look at science, a man who transitions to a woman has some serious biological advantages regardless of the testosterone levels. The bone density of being a man for 30-something years is something that can't be forgotten, and then strength training is incredibly important. But if you talk about this, if you mention that maybe this isn't fair, maybe women's sports might be getting destroyed, people will call you a transphobic, right? This cancel culture we have today, they'll call you transphobic and they will destroy you, right? Another example, I got plenty of these examples. OnlyFans, our favorite subject on this channel. A lot of women are joining OnlyFans at a ridiculous level. It's almost as popular as TikTok, prostituting themselves basically for money online. And this is becoming normal. It's becoming some kind of weird pseudo-feminism type thing. And if you say, hey, maybe you guys shouldn't be doing this, maybe this isn't the best thing, maybe this is going to create a society or a generation of women that have shame, because, you know, when you do this type of stuff, you feel shame, whether you are thinking it's pro-feminism or not. You're a human being. When you do this, shame comes out. Just looking around Lana Rose right now.
I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail. Like, honestly, some of my experiences are really humiliating for me, and I wish that they never happened.
You will be considered misogynist. People will say, hey, stop trying to tell that woman not to get her bag, you privileged male fuck. Right? So that's 2. Number 3. Today, we are in the middle of a pan something or other, and a lot of people have a particular flu, and there is an emergency trial vaccine that's going out. Now, if you are one of those people that researches things and looks at this vaccine and maybe just interpolates that perhaps a new vaccine that hasn't been trialed or where we don't know the long-term effects might not be the best thing to inject into your perfectly okay, perfect immune system body, maybe I'll wait a little bit. If you're one of those people that speaks out, you will be called a conspiracy theorist and an anti-vaxxer, right? This is the world we're living in. People turn on each other with these labels: misogynist, transphobic, conspiracy theorist, anti-vaxxer. There is no room for nuance. There's no room for looking at both sides of the arguments and coming up with your own solution. You're either left or you're right. And this is why people are scared. If they speak out, like I'm doing right now, they're afraid they're going to get canceled. They're afraid they're going to get fired. They'd rather stay as a slave in Sparta, ready to get their heads chopped off by the Spartans. And this is not right. This is what's happening right now in society. A wide range of people are just allowing a bunch of bullshit to happen to them that they know is wrong. They're not speaking up when they know something is not right because of fear. And fear is one thing at the individual level. You know, if you're scared to change your job and go to a new job, or you're scared to move from your home city, that's one thing. But when millions of people are controlled by fear, shit really hits the fan. So what can you do about this? The first thing you can do is educate yourself. And I'm not talking about being spoon-fed by the mainstream media. I mean looking at both sides of the argument, looking at one professional expert that says one thing and one that says the other. I suggest going with the thing that you don't agree with and seeing what the other side has to say about it, especially things that are censored, especially things that Facebook, Twitter, and whatnot doesn't want you to see. Because in the many cases, the conspiracy theories of yesterday end up being the science of today. Not always, but in many cases. So it's worthwhile investigating both sides. That might be watching interviews or reading books, doing your due diligence. Don't just accept the mainstream bullshit that everybody else is accepting. Think for yourself. Remember, a lot of the things that were acceptable yesterday are the horrors of today. I'm talking about foot binding, breaking little girls' feet so that they look beautiful in China was perfectly normal. Keeping humans as slaves was perfectly normal in many countries for many years. That was awesome. You know, even things like smoking weed were illegal and people would go to jail for that, but now it's legal. So a lot of things we're doing today, we will look at with horror and we'll be like, how the hell did we allow that to happen? So don't be so naive and to think that because things are a certain way, that's right, that's just, or that's ethical. The second big thing you can do is by playing your part, stop allowing small transgressions, right? You're in your workplace and your boss is coming up with some new bullshit that goes against your boundaries. Maybe you have to take a particular thing to work there, or maybe you have to act a particular way, and you feel like something is not right. Speak up, right? Don't be so scared of losing your job or this or that, because what tends to happen is when the first person speaks up, everybody else now starts talking, right? But you just need that first person to speak up. And this skill set comes with time, comes with practice. When you start respecting yourself as a human being and stop being pushed over by others, when you start exerting your will, that's when your world will start changing. You know, fear is the feeling, is the emotion that keeps people stuck in their job, keeps people stuck in their home city, keeps people stuck in some shitty relationship they've been in for like 20 years that isn't working. It keeps people stuck at the individual level. As soon as you transcend that, magic will start happening in your life. I used to be run by fear. I used to just do everything everybody else told me, and until I said, fuck that, I'm gonna do my own thing. And my life has been better ever since. Opportunities start opening up for you. You start seeing doors that you didn't even know existed because you've transcended that primal feeling of fear, and you leave other men behind, the sheep. Most men need to be sheep. Only a few can be leaders, and I hope you are one of them. Realize, man, do this, and I promise you'll be one step closer to living and dying well. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notifications so we can see more of each other. Until next time.